Oh,
so
like,
whether you or your wife gets in the car, then you'll be able to, you know, kind of just hit the button, pick your configuration. It'll go right back to it. So, you know, you won't have to be messing around with that every time you get in and out of the car.
and this is nice too, the big old screen. That's,
Oh, yeah.
man, that's
So
the best thing I've seen. Like, wow.
literally everything that you're going to do from the car, besides changing the steering wheel and the seat there, are going to be done right here from the screen. So we're going to go through a couple of these options here,
Okay.
and then we'll head out. So basically, the way to way that we're going to start today is go ahead and hit this button down here on the bottom left. This is going to pull up all of our controls. So instantly you can see that you can open up all of your doors, you can open up your trunk, and you can also close your door. So I'll show you. I can open the door right from here, and then I can close that door right from here as well, which is kind of nice. Same thing with the seats, especially with the 6-seat interior. I can pull forward or backwards the seat that's behind me without actually having to get out and actually like hit a lever
that's
for
nice.
it. So yeah, with having
And you
a
do
bunch
that
of
to the back
kids.
too, like.
Yeah. But the thing about it is, if you go with the 7-seat interior, instead of having these seats here,
the
you're gonna have a
captain
bench.
seats. Okay.
It's gonna look just like that. And so those aren't nearly controlled as much from the screen
the
here.
captain's, right.
But with the 6-seat interior, you're able to push those forward and pull them back. Something else that's really cool that I like to point out is the suspension is completely adjustable. So like, let's just say in your neighborhood you got like some pretty bad speed bumps or whatever, then you can raise your suspension so that, and the car will remember that you did that on the way into your neighborhood, and so every time you get home, the car will raise up so that you're not, you know, you're not scraping the bottom of the car on these speed bumps. Or it will also lower down. It automatically lowers. Right now it's set to 55, but you can kind of change that around. So anytime you get out on the highway, you go over 55, the car's going to lower down. You're going to get more aerodynamics. Yeah. You can kind of skip over the lights, but here with the driving options, I want to make sure that all of these are set to the kind of middle standard. All right. That way it's going to give you an idea of how, you know, the car's really going to feel. As far as the steering mode here, the farther left you go, the looser the steering wheel is going to be. It's going to drive kind of like a minivan.
Okay.
Whereas the sport side is going to be more of like your BMW X3, X4, X5, things like that. Now, as far as the regenerative braking goes, this is going to be the thing that's going to be, it's going to take a little bit more getting used to, because when you take your foot off the accelerator, the car's going to slow down automatically. It's kind of like downshifting.
Okay.
Yeah, so you know, when you so you don't necessarily have to use your brakes in order to slow down, which is going to increase the lifetime of your brakes. It's going to also help you with kind of controlling your slowing speed, which is really nice. And then also just kind of you know, extend the life of your brakes, because you're not actually using them.
Stomping on them.
Yeah. So that's all that. Now, as far as the autopilot goes, I want to make sure that we take a look at this. This is our autopilot agreement, and basically what this states is that even though you can turn on the autopilot, it's a driver assistance program. It's not a driver replacement program.
So
once
you
turn
have
it
to
on,
maintain the visual.
you can't just fall asleep behind the wheel.
No. I'm not even like I don't really feel comfortable with that.
Okay.
So I don't like. I would like to know more about it, but I don't think I will do it though.
Okay. Well, I mean, you know, since we're in it today and the car is configured for it, I'd love to show you just how it works once we get on I-795. So and you can kind of take it or leave it from that point. But now that we're in a car that has it, you might as well see it.
Yeah.
So basically, just kind of what I was saying here is that as the car is driving down the road, it's going to ask you for a little bit of feedback on the wheel every once in a while, and that's either going to be just a little jiggle to the wheel, or what I just like to do is roll the wheel, and all that does is remind the car that you're still there, so it will still keep driving itself. You just don't have to, you know, literally put in all the configurations and stuff. Okay. So if you understand that, go ahead and hit the yes button here. And as we start going with that, you know, then I'll kind of give you a little bit more information as we go. So as far as all that stuff goes, I mean, a lot of this stuff down here, being able to, you know, have the automatic doors, close everything with the key fob, you can kind of mess around with all that. I definitely recommend once you own the car, to set a pin to drive.
Oh, so that way no one just.
That way nobody can take your key, like steal your key and then steal your car.
Oh, that's nice.
They still have to be able to put a pin number in. It's kind of like with your phone.
Nice.
So I definitely recommend that, and that's something I like to point out to everybody nowadays. Seeing as how we're seeing a little bit more theft of Teslas just in general, especially all the way out on the West Coast. We don't have to worry about it so much over here, but I'm seeing it over there. So we'll go ahead and get rid of that. Now, do me a favor, go ahead and put your foot on the brake. So just by being in the car, having the key in the car, which is in my pocket, and by putting your foot on the brake, the car is started. So it's on now.
Okay, well, you can't even really notice it at all. Wow, that's nice.
No, the only way that you know is that you're able to shift into gear down here. Before we did that, it said car off down here.
Yeah.
So now the whole car's on. Lights are all automatic in here. So if it was nighttime, lights would go on automatically.
Nice.
And you can kind of change that too. If you go in here to lights, you can see how the headlights are on auto.
Okay.
But you can turn that off. You can kind of toggle it when you want. I don't know why you would.
Yeah, I would just
keep it on auto. Yeah, that's pretty much the way I look at it. And the auto high beams, basically, if you have the high beams on and the car senses another car coming at you, it'll turn off, and then it'll turn back on afterwards. So really nice. Yeah. So basically, the way that we're gonna get going here. Stock here on the right is going to be all the way up is reverse, all the way down is drive, and the button on the end is park. Okay. There's two stocks that are on the left-hand side of the steering wheel over here. And the one on the bottom there is going to be controlling your autopilot.
Oh, this one, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the way that we're going to engage the autopilot is going to be clicking that towards
me,
you
right?
twice. The first time is going to turn on the cruise control. The second time is going to turn on the autopilot.
Okay, too.
Yeah, and what you'll notice at that point is you're going to see a blue steering wheel show up on this side and a number in a circle show up on that side. The number on the circle is your cruise control, and then the steering wheel shows that you're still in autopilot. All right, and once it turns blue, if it's gray, then it means that you can turn on the autopilot, but it's not on yet.
Okay.
Okay. Do you have any questions for me?
You can leave it a foot off the brake, right? Once you.
Well, yeah, it's in park right now, so yeah, but yeah, basically to turn on the car, having your key in the car, putting your foot on the brake, that turns the car on.
Okay, that's
and
like you start. Like the start car, they push the brake and then you start. No, I don't.
Let's see here. So I also do. I did want to show you this since we're sitting here. Where do you go in Texas, or where did you go
she
when you
lives
drove?
in Brownsville. That's typical Texas. That's 26 hours from here to 27. Yeah, we drove that much. My eyes hurt it for. I didn't want to know about a car for 3 days.
Right. Yeah. I've got family that lives in Texas. We've always flown. I couldn't imagine driving there.
And we did an expedition. And by the time we had my smaller one was smaller, so he was fuzzy.
Mm-hmm.
Like he really didn't, because sitting out so long, he didn't really enjoy it. So we couldn't sleep. So
Right.
it was like, man, I'm surprised we made it.
Yeah.
Here and there. But
so what this is going to do is this is going to pull up our navigation, and it's going to pull up all of the charging spots on the way there. It's going to help you plan out that trip. Let's try it one more time. I think it's just because we're on Wi-Fi here. Wi-Fi's being a little bit slow. So Brownfield, Texas, 1,500 miles. If I hit navigate, then it's going to, you see all the little red blips on the way?
that's nice. That's a charging station, right?
Those are all the charging stations. So it's going to plan you out a trip, so you don't have to, make the plans of like, where am I going to stop? It's going to tell you where to stop and for how long at each spot.
That's nice.
And so it'll let you know how many minutes you got to stay there in order to charge up, and so on and so forth. Now I know that your wife you want your wife to be here to make this decision.
Yeah, because I'm gonna reschedule again because I want her to experience it too, so that way it makes a solid decision.
Something that I wanted to let you know is that our referral program is going to be going away at the end of this month. And what our referral program gets you right now is 6 months of free supercharging. So if you were to take this trip, then you would be able to get all the way down there and back without having to pay anything for
but it's not that much when I seen. It's not that much. It's probably $8, $7.
It's not that much, but I mean, imagine
gas,
doing $8 every single time, or imagine not doing anything.
Yeah,
every time you just pop over there and you stop. So I mean, but the thing about that is that it's going to you're going to want to place your order before Thursday in order to lock that in. So I mean, I want to put that out there. I know it's probably a little bit too early for you, but I do want to put that on your radar. Okay. So yeah, I mean, now that we've kind of gone through that, You feel free to kind of take us out on the road here. Once we get out on the Reisterstown Road, we're gonna make our way.
Okay, let's get going.